Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am glad you joined me today for another lesson, correct, in our workbook of A Course in Miracles, where we teach ourselves, right? Because you're always teaching yourself to the undoing of what you think you are, so that what you truly are can resurface within your mind, correct? It's only because you've cluttered up your mind, right, with thoughts that are not true, with ideas that are not true, right, that it truly needs an undoing, right, uh, relinquishment, if you will, of everything that you now believe, right, to allow what you truly are, the memory of God, the memory of you as you truly are, to resurface it in your own mind. These are the lessons of our Course in Miracles. And as we've talked about, right, these lessons in the undoing of you in your own idea of yourself, while at simultaneously um, allowing what you truly are to resurface in your memory, right? Um, they're mind training lessons, aren't they? They're mind training lessons. You learn to think in opposition or completely in a completely opposite way as what you thought, the way you thought before. We call this the thinking of the world. Your new thought system, your new way of thinking, is in every aspect completely opposite to the thinking of the world. One of the lessons we did recently is I'm the light of the world. Well, you are the light of the world. Yet to the world, that's completely arrogant, right? You could walk into a place and say, well, I'm the light of the world, and they'll probably look very strange at you, right? But that's a fact, right? That's who you truly are. You are the light of the world. Today's lesson is beautiful. Today's lesson is my only function is the function God gave me. You have no other function. What he's going to say in here is that's it. You do have a function. You're not here at random, right? You're not here by coincidence. You're not just some lost figure in space time um, that is just somehow just living out some little interval from birth to death, right? That's not what you are. He says, no, no, no. You accepted a function when you came into this. The reason you don't remember is because of the veil, right? You've forgotten because the moment you got here, um, basically you forgot everything from before. But you agreed to this, right? You were given a function by your Father, by God, right? And your function in space time is to remember who you are. So, yeah, you do have a function. And the first line is great. It says, the idea for today reaffirms your commitment to salvation. It's singularity of purpose. It says, it also reminds you that you have no other function than that. Single purpose allows awakening. As long as you have salvation as a purpose and you have some other purpose in space time, that will conflict, right? That won't go. You can't serve God and mammon. You're either going to wake up, right, and have salvation as your single purpose and no other purpose besides that, or you'll have some conflictual purpose and that never works. So really it is accepting salvation and letting everything else go. And there's a certain trust involved with that, isn't there? Because maybe you'll go, yeah, but wait a minute. How do I know I'm going to be okay if I let go of all my other purposes? What about my purpose of, I don't know, whatever purpose you've set for yourself in the world? But for those of us who have gone through this, right? What we've noticed is that we are perfectly taken care of. We're always perfectly taken care of. Not only that, we're completely happy because in one of the upcoming lessons, he says your function and your happiness are one. Right? Or another lesson, let's take another lesson. I'm sustained by the love of God. You truly don't need anything else. When you make that the single decision to awaken, the entire universe rushes in to help you because the entire universe is you, is your mind. There is nothing outside of you. It cannot not help you. you'll be giving exactly what you need in time and from out of time, right? I love that because somehow there is this idea that, well, what, and you go into specifics, right? Well, am I supposed to give up my job? Or, no, well, these things are individual. You're not asked in A Course in Miracles to do anything. All you're being asked to accept the single purpose of awakening for yourself. The rest will be shown. The rest is individual, right? Some do, some don't, right? Some, obviously if you have a family, you take care of your family, right? Of course, right? You don't get to escape your responsibilities. No, it's more the opposite. You'll become more responsible. You'll become totally responsible. So there is no set way, right? However this looks for someone else, it might not look like that for you. But notice it doesn't ask any of that. All it says is accept the single purpose of salvation. Accept the function that God gave you. That's all. Love it. It says the full acceptance of salvation as your only function necessarily entails two phases. The recognition of salvation as your function and the relinquishment of all other goals that you have invented for yourself. Love that. It's amazing the freedom of complete reliance on God, the freedom that that brings to you. Because once you do that, you notice that you are perfectly taken care of, right? And until you rely on God, you're always worried, you're always anxious, you're always, think that you're going to have to provide for yourself, right? But you are under no laws but God's, right? You are sustained by the love of God. And all these things require a certain trust, right? You don't know if you make that leap, right? What's going to happen. But that's part of awakening. You don't know. You don't know what that's going to look like for you. But again, take it from me or take it from anyone who's gone through that you'll be perfectly taken care of. You'll be more than fine, right? Way more than you'll ever was when you were trying to take care of yourself. That's the beauty of this. You'll see that what it tells you is absolutely true. He's telling you that don't worry about it, right? Love it. This is the only way in which you can take your rightful place among the saviors of the world. This is the only way in which you can say and mean, my only function is the one God gave me. This is the only way in which you can find peace of mind. Because that's what you're looking for. Everyone here is looking for peace, right? That peace that transcends everything, right? The peace of God. How does Paul say it? Right? That's not from here, right? That peace, when that dawns on you, right? When you let go for a moment of the tension of self-identity, the tension of trying to keep yourself together, the tension of thinking you have to provide for yourself, the constant worrying, when that peace of God just dawns on you for a moment, you know that's not from here, right? It's nothing you've ever experienced in space and time. You know that's given to you from out of time and gives you a glimpse of what you are. And that's all it is, really a glimpse. But the rest that it provides, right? You can rest in that, right? What's the lesson? I rest in God, right? I rest in God. You can't rest in space-time, right? You can't rest in the midst of war, right? You can't rest in all this conflict, right? If you're here, there is no rest, right? You're constantly in conflict. You're just trying to minimize it, but you're never really at peace and at rest. But when that just dawns on you and you feel this deep peace and relinquishment, which many of us have experienced in crossover experiences, right? You call them near-death experiences, right? When you have a crossover experience and you just feel that peace that just envelops you, which is your true nature, which is your true self, right? You don't want to go back. You don't want to get out of that. That's unlike anything this world can give you. But it is a leap of faith. It does require for a moment that trust. Well, so be it, right? Maybe some training. Maybe you're just going to have to convince yourself and train your mind. Like, hey, I just need to just let go, just trust, and just remember yourself. Remind yourself, this is a great lesson. Great lesson. Wow. And it says here, he says you need to set some time apart for that. I'll let you read the whole lesson yourself. But there's one line I want to read here. It says, this is part of the long-range disciplinary training your mind needs so that the Holy Spirit can use it consistently for the purpose he shares with you. And when he says long range, that's just a moment, right? Way shorter than it took for you to accept all these illusions. But it's a systematic mind training. It's not just done haphazardly, right? Your mind is being trained in these lessons of A Course in Miracles in a systematic way. Starting with the undoing of the way you see now, and then regaining what is true and actually starting to see truly. And just feeling the peace of God, right? Having moments of vision, moments in which you can see that none of this is so, right? That the world you see has nothing to do with reality, but beyond it, there's a world that reflects the love of God, that in the Course is called a real world, meaning it's still not reality, but it's as close to reality as you can get here, right? And these, for many of us, these visions, these experiences have become common, right? We rely on them. We rely on the light as a reference, and many of you do as well, right? You're no longer relying on anything here. You don't believe it. It's whatever this is, and you'll deal with it however you'll deal with it, but you're starting to rely on the light. That becomes your true reference, right? If you need help, instead of getting anxious and fearful, you'll go like, hey, I need some help with this, right? I'm dealing with this, and step back and let it be done for you. And truly, that's how simple it is, right? He says somewhere in A Course in Miracles that you'll see that all your problems just melt away, right? Whatever obstacle for a moment you may experience, all you need to do is step back, ask for help, and you'll see that everything will be taken care of for you. It's an entirely new way of being, right? It doesn't require any effort of you, but it does require that vigilance against, well, whatever you want to call this, temptation, or that old way of thinking, right? These old thoughts, to let them not resurface within your own mind. That's A Course in Miracles. It's the most natural and easy course there is, because truly, it doesn't require you do anything. And yet it is the hardest course it is if you're trying to somehow hold on to your own thought system. But once you start to build that confidence that what it does and what it says and what it promises you is actually true, it becomes easy, right? You just start to rely on it. You rely on it being done for you. You rely on stepping back. There's many lessons that teach you this. Is it? I will step back and let him lead the way, or I'll choose the second place to gain the first, or any of these lessons, this is step back and let it be done for you. Step back. Let me show you how the miracle will take care of this for you. Step back. Let me show you that this is not real, and how it just immediately resolves by remembering who you are. Amazing, huh? That's what many of you now have discovered in your new mind, how easy this becomes. Maybe initially how hard it was because you hadn't quite made that leap yet. But once you rely on that, how easy and effortless everything becomes. Is this almost you can't be touched, right? You're in it but not of it, right? There's many ways of expressing this, right? You're above the battlefield. I don't know, however you want to express this. So that's kind of what I wanted to just convey today, right? The lesson for today is just beautiful. We're in the heavenly 60s, right? We call this the light and love lessons. And lesson for today, my only function is the one God gave me. Some of you actually remember maybe being given the function by God, an out of time memory, right? A crossover memory, however, right? You remember that, but it's a true thing. You have been given a function by God. It's to remember who you are. It's to be the light of the world. It's, how shall we express it, to be happy. It's, however you want to express that. And that's your only purpose here. You don't have another one. You're not here to be a good human being. Good implies bad, so now what? What's good to one is bad to another. I don't know how to, now you start to compare. You're not here to be rich. You're not here to, I don't know, be successful in your job. That can all happen, and if that happens, that's fine, but your only function is the one God gave you. The rest is whatever, that's just meaningless, finally. Anyway, I digress. Thank you for joining me today. Give this video a like, if you like it. This is an important message. This is the way I woke up. It's the way you woke up or are waking up. This is the way it happens. And yeah, I'll see you next time.